We've all heard the story of Lazarus in Sunday school. We all have colored the pictures. So here it is. Lazarus is very sick. He dies. Jesus comes and raises him from the dead, and everyone celebrates. But there's more to that story. Because a little later it says that Jesus left the town, then he came back, and crowds of people came to him. Why? Well, let's look. John 12:10 and 11 says, "Then the leading priests decided to kill Lazarus too, for it was because of him that many of the people had deserted them and believed in Jesus." Did you hear me? Because of him, many deserted their own gods to follow the one true God. That's the story of Lazarus. He became a threat to the religious system. Sounds like a switching of kingdoms to me, because here Lazarus is, and now because of his testimony and the words he's spoken, the life that he's living, people are being drawn to Jesus, and now he's a threat to the religious system? I know what you're thinking. That's about physical death and physical life, but God's a little more creative than what meets the eye. It very much applies to our lives spiritually too. How many of us were spiritually dead, and what did the religious system do? They helped create a tomb for us, and they hired mourners to comfort us and to pray, but nothing happened. They gave us nothing. But then Jesus came and he spoke life, and he said, "Rise up," and life came into us, and Lazarus decided he wasn't going to be quiet about it. Lazarus became a threat to the religious system, and we should too. So the religious leaders are pretty mad at Lazarus right now. Why? Because he was bold and told them about Jesus who came, and now people are leaving the traditions of men and going after the one true God. And this is very rare, and I want to say to us that we must have a response. If we were once Lazarus and God has come and brought life to us, we must do something. We must have a response. Lazarus did, and we know other people in the Bible had a response. When God encountered them, they did something and they spoke up. We must have that boldness. And I say this because I know many times people are not bold enough to say anything that God has done. As a matter of fact, we see in the book of John that there are 2 other times that people did not speak up. In John 9, we hear of parents of a blind man who would not tell the religious leaders who healed their son because they were scared that they would be kicked out of the synagogue. And then in John 7, it says, "No one had the courage to speak favorably about him, Jesus, in public, for they were afraid of getting in trouble with the Jewish leaders." And many of us today have that very same fear, so we don't speak up. God has done something great in our lives, but we won't speak up. It's our time to be a threat to the religious system. We must speak up what God is doing and be bold about it, be fearless about it, so that others will desert the old traditions of man and come after the one true God. So my question for you is simply this: are you being a threat to the religious system? And if not, what can you do and what can you say to become one?